Hey everybody, a really short video to explain something to you. So a video I put up yesterday where I was talking about the ballast tube for this Fada, yes, old 64 goat Fada radio. I was talking about the fan capacitor that I was going to install in here to reduce the voltage. Well, it was brought to my attention that I didn't really explain what a fan capacitor is, and there may be some folks that don't know. So before I install this thing and come back to you, here's what it looks like. Just like this. It's very simple. It's 8 microfarads at 450 volts, 50, 60 hertz. And it's got a 5% tolerance. I actually measured this one, and I'll show you that in a minute. It's like 8.6 microfarads. But why does a ceiling fan need one of these? If you have ceiling fans in your house, I'm sure you have one of these. Why do you need it? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Most ceiling fans have a type of motor known as a permanent split capacitor motor. And basically these motors have two coils, a start and a run winding. So the capacitor is connected in series with the start winding to insert a phase shift, much like we're doing here. But once the motor is up to speed, it becomes an auxiliary winding. So you could basically say this is kind of doing a jump start to the fan. Matter of fact, if you have a ceiling fan that stops working, and if you go over and spin the blades it works, that means that this capacitor is probably bad. Now you can't confuse this with a startup capacitor like in an HVAC system. A startup capacitor is a polarized capacitor that stores energy and helps the motor get up to speed quickly. This doesn't store anything when there's no power. It's not a polarized capacitor. Alright, that's important to remember. This is not polarized. Alright, so that's what this is all about. That's why we use fan capacitors. It's the same theory as the ceiling fan that I told you about in the radio. It's basically used, in this case, to reduce voltage. Let's test it real quick and then we'll end the video. Okay, we're going to use our Peak Atlas Esr Meter. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to put one end on here. I'm going to put one end on here. And it's analyzing the part. Let's see what we get. Alright, the cap is 8.48 microfarads. Let's zoom in so you can see that. And the ESR is 0.08. That's perfect. So we know the capacitor is good. So that explains what a fan capacitor is. And someone also asked me, where do you buy them? Well, you can buy these things in Lowe's, Home Depot, if they have the right values. There's a lot of different values of these things. If you can't find them in Lowe's or Home Depot, you can always get them on Amazon. That's where I got this one. You get 2 of them. I think it was like $4 or something. Nothing, right? This is really the equivalent of a regular capacitor, right? You know, the old yellow jacket capacitors. It's really the equivalent of one of those, like this here. I'll show you this one. It's really no different than this, except you wouldn't expect a typical homeowner to install one of these in a ceiling fan, right? Especially someone who doesn't know anything about electronics. So you get something like this, and you attach it with wire nuts, and you're good to go. So the only thing difference is this is 8 microfarad. It's pretty large for a non-polarized cap. Anyway, that's the explanation. I hope that helps somebody. If you already knew this stuff, I'm sorry I took up your time. Everybody have a great night. Take care. I'll be back and show you what we end up doing with this thing. This thing is so large. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount it. So here's a socket. All right. So you could see I got some thinking to do about how I'm going to mount this thing. Everybody have a great night.